Well, working on the 57 Chevy, and one of the problems I encountered working on this car is I wanted to use a lot of custom stainless steel fasteners. They're not really all custom. You just buy stainless steel fasteners from your bolt supplier, you polish the heads, and you install them. And it makes it look really nice. These are the door post strikers for 57 Chevy. And this is one of the ones I've restored already. It's already been cleaned and painted in the flat silver. And this is one of the original screws. It's a Phillips head, 5/16 fine thread, flathead style. And it fits real nice in there. Well, the problem is it's kind of an unusually small head. I can't find that head anywhere. I've looked, I talked to bolt suppliers, I looked on the internet myself. I can't find anyone making this fastener in stainless steel with any type of drive. The closest I could get is this. This right here is the common. Now I requested the Allen head because all my fasteners on the car are Allen head where they're available. So I was able to get these in an Allen. It's the correct length, but the head is wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bolt over to the lathe. I'm going to chuck it up in the lathe, and I'm going to first turn the outside diameter down and then recut the bevel underneath. Now, a lot of people would say, oh, you know, that wouldn't be hard to do. You could just take and face it off until you get down to the diameter that you need to be. And then that'll save you cutting the bevel. Well, the problem with that is if I take off enough material to get the head diameter correct, I'll no longer have enough of a hex in the head to do a good job catching an Allen key with. I might not even have any hex left, to be honest with you. So to get full hex engagement for my Allen key, we're going to do it the way I said to begin with. I'm going to turn down the diameter and recut the bevel under the head. So I'm going to get the camera reset, and then I'll have you over at the lathe and we'll make up some of these bolts. Okay, I just wanted to take a minute to explain the setup that I was using here. I have my lathe, which is really too big to do these kinds of jobs. It's a 20-inch swing lathe. It works pretty good. It did a nice job. I did the first half of them. I still got 6 to go, so it did a nice job on them. I do have a 12-inch lathe that I want to get put together and get running, but time just doesn't seem to allow for it. But anyway, what I've done here is I've put the bolt in so that the top of the head is 5/8 away from the chuck job. That gives me just enough clearance to get in with the tool and not bump into the chuck. So I've done enough of these that I figured out that 5/8 is the way to go, and so I put them in at 5/8 every time to make things go as efficiently as possible. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn down the diameter of this head, and the diameter of one of the existing original bolts was 497 thousandths. I measured it with my micrometer, and it's 497. So I'm going to get this down to 497, and then I'm going to come back in and cut the bevel underneath for the countersink so that it will sit flat in the door striker. Let me turn on my 3-phase converter and we'll get back at this. All right, so let's get started. All right, we're at 568 thousandths. And we want to be at 497 thousandths. So that's 71 thousandths to go. So let's see. This dial on this particular machine, I have to move the tool half that distance. So that's 20, 30, 2, 4. That should get me in the ballpark. I'm going to say I'm probably going to be a little bit under on this one, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think anything plus or minus 10 on this is probably going to be just fine. I haven't had any that far off yet, but $475, 85, 91, 2, 3, 4. 95, so we're about 2 thousandths under, which is fine for what we're doing. Now, the very next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take and recut the chamfer under the head. I'm using carbide tooling, and what I did when I did my setup is I rotated my compound. I could have done the tool post just as easily, I suppose, until the straight edge matched the face underneath the head of the screw. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in until I just touch off on the threads below the head, and then I'm going to hand feed over until I'm satisfied with how much I've taken away. I think I'm already having a problem. One of the things that I do here, this would work much better if I had a collet chuck on this machine, but oh yeah, I've already pulled that out of the head a 1/16 of an inch. So I'm going to reset this and make the chuck just a little bit tighter this time. So that it doesn't work its way out on me. Right there, that's good. Just very carefully take a file and knock down the corner on the top. Focus. There we go. Just do that 6 more times and I'll have the other half of the set. I'm going to do those off camera and then I'll bring you back after I've done a little bit more work. Okay, spent a little bit of time at the lathe. I got 6 more of these fasteners finished and I'll show you they look pretty nice. This is one of the original ones from the Chevy. I did polish the head, so it is just a zinc bolt, but that's as good as it'll ever look. And there's one of the custom ones that I did, and as you can see, they fit quite nicely. Using a 3-jaw chuck instead of a collet does cause one minor problem. I don't know if you can see it, but it kind of flattened out the crest of the threads a little bit. To make it so that that'll thread in easily, I took and chased it down with a die so that the threads are nice and clean and will work properly. But you can see how nice this looks. Just a little bit of work and you know, a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of skill on a metal lathe can make a big difference between whether you've got to use this kind of stuff or this kind of stuff. So I hope this was helpful, and I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me for a little bit. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.